Good morning, everybody. I hope you're all doing well today. Talana and I are going to be taking you through today's webinar on how to get the most out of your system. I do hope that you are going to find a lot of things inside of the system maybe that you didn't know about or things that you can use. So I'm really excited to see all of you here. Some of you I do know and some of you I don't know. So I'm going to send a huge big shout out to all of those I do know, and to those that I don't, welcome. I'm so glad that you are here. Just a few rules to run over quickly. So some of the house rules, the recording will be available for those that have not seen it, or if you'd like to go back and re-look at it, please feel free to give us questions. Questions are good. And in this particular webinar, if we don't cover something, please place a question so that we can answer it for you. There will be a Q&A at the end of this, and we're looking forward to all of those questions. So I'm Barbara. I'm the Accounts and Sales Manager at Itensity, and I'm going to be doing this with Talana.
Morning, everyone. It's the blonde and the brunette. It's us again.
It's the blonde and the brunette. Talana is our head of training. So once again, like I said, all questions, please feel free to pop them through. Just to quickly go through the agenda as to what we're going to be looking at today. Itensity as a business solution, how to get the most out of your system, and are you using all of those areas to the best of their ability inside of the system, and then a nice, really cool insight as to what is coming up inside of the system. So moving forward, I'm going to hand over to Talana quickly, and then you will see me shortly a little while later.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Barbara said that I'm in our onboarding department. So we actually have more onboarding staff that we added in this year. And we're really happy that you joined us today. We're really looking for some key insights to share with you. So we did take our time to plan this webinar to make sure that we actually deliver something that will be valuable and something that you can take away. Some of the items might not be relevant, you're already applying them, but we do want you to provoke your thought a little bit and make you think of bigger picture and maturity. So we really hope that you find this webinar helpful today. Thank you, Bobs.
It's a pleasure. Okay, so what we've got to look at today, Talana and I have divided it into 3 sections, and a lot of you will have actually seen your businesses grow, but this is actually showing how the businesses grow right from the start right through to the end. So we're going to follow through everything from sign-up processes, and on each of the different areas that we go through, we're going to have takeaways so that you can actually get something that you might not have actually known from the system. As you can see, starting on the sign-up, then going through to the invoicing, payments, getting money in your bank, which is so important. And lastly, looking at the reports, how people can pay, watching all of that growth that's actually happening in your business. So let's go on to the first slide. So this is sign up. So you might be wondering, why am I starting at sign up when you already know how to get members into your system and you all know how to sign up a member and things like that. But with Itensity now, we have got multiple different ways that you can actually go about doing this. So some of you might be doing simple advertising that is on Facebook, on Instagram, and maybe putting it on a few posters and word of mouth. But now inside of Itensity, we have actually been able to come up with a way that you can now actually capture people that are not necessarily a target market. So a lot of people, when they're actually doing gym openings, what they do is they do standout tables and they hand out bits and pieces and goodies for people or try and get them to sign up. So what we have done, which is something that is called online join. It has multiple reasons. So online join in essence is that when a person scans a QR code, they are then directed through to a action widget that opens up, and it actually gives all of your packages. a person can sign up directly from their home. They can be sitting on their couch. They can be bustling around. Right from home, they can actually do this. So some things you might not have thought about with this QR code. It's really nice to have it on your website and things like that. But push yourselves a little bit further to the limit. Now actually think about, you can take that QR code, and let's say that you're doing a marketing table, or if you're doing posters, you're not going to be able to reach a target market that hasn't actually necessarily thought of coming into the gym, or might be considering it by placing it on things like, let's look at that water bottle. A water bottle is a nice giveaway. You can put a belly band on it, put the QR code onto it. A person's going to go home, they're going to drink that water, they're going to read what you've actually put onto that belly band, they're likely to scan. You have now caught a target member that wasn't necessarily in your radar. Likewise with posters, likewise with any form of handouts. I've also got Instagram and Facebook on here, because what you can do is, if you're going to create an ad on Facebook, or if you're going to place a picture on Facebook and you place your QR code, if a person scans that, because Facebook doesn't like you actually leaving Facebook. So if you place it into your ad and a person scans that, as you can see on the phone picture, it's then going to load into that. So there are multiple ways to use different things right from sign up. So normally you would have actually thought an online join was just to get people to sign up. It was a nice link. But now I'm going to ask you, try push it to the limits. Let's actually get people signing up that are not necessarily in your target market. And with all of that, communication is key. So the system is also built with campaigns and items like that that help you to reach your target audience. But I want you to see now that you can actually go out there and get that. Anything else, T, that I might have missed out on this one?
I think the main takeaway that we wanted to share here was you need to double down. So you need to make sure you know what works for you. If you know that driving campaigns is a huge driver for new business, you need to know that works for your business. But you're actually going to be needing to use those tools to know if it works or not. If you know that digital, well, we live in a digital era, Itensity is a digital product. You need to be using these digital and automated functions to save your business operations. So we know that the cost of appointing new staff is quite expensive. So you also want to make sure that you're implementing these basics and that you're implementing them correctly and according to what works for your business, where you are in your market, in your environment, and with the staff, keeping the type of staff that you have in mind, top of mind.
100%. Yeah, that is so spot on. We want you to actually use our system and use what we've actually got inside of it. Use the functionality. That's what we're wanting. I'm going to pop to the next page inside of here, where we're going to chat a little bit about automation, because it's most important with what Talana has actually just said. Use the system and use the functionality that the system's got to alleviate a lot of your admin. So I'm going to hand over to Talana to just go through the automation.
Right. So we actually, when preparing for this, we thought of what's the end result. We want to show you the things that you don't necessarily end up seeing all the time. So if you plan your automation correctly on Itensity and you implement these things that are available, it will actually improve your member experience. It will improve your back office processes and just make everything smoother and clearer. You need to define what your user journey is for your customer, the same as what we do. So you need to know where you're finding your client, how they're coming across your information or your business, and how that information gets to them. Is it through a referral? Is it through a campaign? Was it on a poster? You need to get that information, and the only way that you're going to get it is by using the functionality that's available. And like we said, as soon as you've got your basics geared up, then move into that next step of how you're using the system to actually make the business more profitable, make your footprint bigger, etc. So simple things like setting up your automated emails. So you might think I already have this set up, but do you know what address that email is actually coming from? Have you set that with us so that the emails are displaying it's from you? Simple little tweaks like that you just want to polish up and tie up so that you know that you're ready to go into your next step, which is some of the mentions that we'll do later. So,
sorry,
yes,
I was going to say, can I ask a question? Because I know a lot of our clients don't do invoicing, and we've got an invoice on the screen there. Can you just give a little bit more detail as to the importance of actually sending invoices inside of our system, and what is the reach and what can actually come from an invoice? So a lot of people don't do it, but there is important features behind actually using the invoice feature.
Definitely. So we did mention that you need to know what your customer journey is, and you need to know what your processes are. Do you have your processes jotted down? Do you have somebody responsible to inform your clients that they can already make payment for the upcoming month by sending them an invoice or by sending them a statement? So these are small little things that are overlooked. And do you have the details on that actual email that goes out to the client to make it easier for them to pay? So these are small little things that we want you to look at, that we want you to revise. We're still in the start of the year. There's still it's still a little bit sunny somewhere. In South Africa, it's sunny on my side today. It's still a little bit warm, and you want to be selling during this time before that first chill gets in. So again, tying up those processes, knowing where on the system to find these things and when it is appropriate. Do you have a calendar that you look at frequently, that you know you're going to focus on this element? Or where you know the system is actually responding in a certain way according to your business rules and your setup. So that is what we want to leave with you.
One of the things I just like to put in there, where we've got the cell phone on the screen, where you see the sign up mail. Now, inside of that particular mail, it can be customized, and we ask you to actually go in and to make them your own, so that when people are receiving this from you, it's not actually just, it's got your logo in it. It must actually look like you. You want everything to be really professional, and it to look like you are responding to your new members there and then. A person feels so, when I sign up to something, and if I get an email or if I get something straight away, I feel that I've been received, I'm acknowledged, I feel I'm on the system, and I feel I'm part of something. So to look at your automation and to look at all of your different options of automated mails, it does make your member feel a lot more part of your journey and a lot more part of your gym.
Definitely. Brand identity, corporate identity, you need to have that there, your colors, any images that they can relate to, and then also call to action. So the customer needs to know what happens next. You need to make that clear to them. You need to make it apparent. And again, that needs to tie in with your processes that you should have documented.
100%. Solana's going to talk a little bit more about the documentation as we go along, and it is a very important topic for all of us, even us in Itensity, to actually look at, and that is processes. So I'm actually really looking forward to that. I'm going to pop over to the next slide. So this is one of my favorite slides. Solana and I are both going to talk on this one. So looking at payments and your reports. So cash in the bank is key. That is what we're wanting. We're wanting you to grow, and we're wanting to have those healthy clients or healthy members that you've got with inside of your gym. So just to reiterate something that I did put forward in the last webinar is getting a sign-up fee or an administration fee. Always just to remember, the second you can get a payment from a client when they sign up, they're making an investment into their future, they're making an investment into your company, and they're going to want to get something out of you because they've already put a down payment down. Now, looking at the screen that we've got here, which Talan is going to break into this over here, have you ever thought of different payment gateways? And payment gateways are so important. If a client gets an invoice or if they get a pop-up on their screen that has got an instant way to pay, the chances that they're going to make that payment there and then is very likely. It's the same as when you work on Take-A-Lot and you get that pop-up button, you're going to pay. If you can make things easy and streamlined for your members, they are likely to do it. So to look at your service providers and see what they offer. In our particular case, Netcash is the one that does offer us all of these things, which means they're a good service provider to look at because they do make your life a lot more streamlined of getting that revenue into your bank account. T.
Yes, so with that, we do have some customers that actually say, you know what, I'm not too interested in a payment gateway right now, or they feel it's quite expensive. There are other solutions that you can consider. Again, it needs to be process driven by you as a business. And a simple idea that I got from a client a while back, and I've been introducing it as I've been moving along with clients, is to inform your clients to set up a scheduled payment. So that's quite an easy thing for a customer to do once off. And then you can actually start expecting those funds being paid to you on a monthly basis without any interaction from that client. So that's a good idea that if you've not got it, you can consider if it works in your target market. But again, if you're in an environment where it's a little bit more digitally managed or digital savvy, I know a lot of our customers in the metropolitans, they love payment link options because their clients are used to using these items all the time. We all shop online. We even have our bank cards fixed to our phones. So you don't even carry a wallet these days, or well, at least I don't. So I know of a lot of people that work like that as well, and easy tap to pay options. So these are small little things. You want to plug in those holes to make sure that the water trickles through the funnel, and you don't want it spilling out at certain instances where it can actually benefit you and the business and the running of the operation.
Nice. One thing I want to touch on is your reporting. Now, inside of Itensity, we've got over 100 different reports. That doesn't mean that you've got we don't need to use 100 different reports. We need to find the one that is best for you, because you've got to remember each one of you is an independent business and each one of you has independent needs. So within those 100 reports that we've actually got inside of there are reports that will suit your needs. And if you need help finding out which of those reports, if there's certain information that you need to require on a daily basis or on a monthly basis, please let us know so we can actually guide you in the right direction as which reports would be the best one to use. Because there's everything from your finances through to your access, through to even your bookings in the reports. Along with that, then actually looking at your members and right down to your members that you're actually communicating with through your CRM, that you're actually talking to, whether it's SMS or messaging and things like that. So inside of Itensity, there is a vast spectrum of knowledge at your fingertips, and I would like you to be able to get to it. So if you do not know and you're possibly using the same reports and it's not necessarily giving you exactly what you want, please let us know. It is important so we can just help guide you so that your experience on our system is not going to be admin heavy. It's actually going to be a breeze, and that's what we want. We're wanting to actually show you that Itensity, if you've got those basics like Talana spoke about, and if you're using the functionality that we've actually got, it is very simple, and we're wanting to get all of you to that point.
Bobs, I actually I'm wondering now, you said something earlier about healthy client and so on, and this is maybe a question that I also want to leave with everyone. I would really like to see a response on what our clients think a healthy customer is. So we're all in the health and wellness and fitness industry, and the aim is to get clients fitter, mentally and physically strong through physical exercise. But in terms of being a member, I wonder what our customers would say they class as what a healthy member. Does that make sense?
That is such a good question. So is a healthy member a paying member? Is a healthy member a person that is arriving every day? Is a healthy member a person that is coming
refers
in?
to somebody.
That's it. So
that's it.
And that's actually something what Talana's actually just hit on something there. A nice thing for you to consider in your gym to actually see where your healthy member base is sitting is referrals. How many people are you getting from your clients? So then to actually look at your campaign link, which is inside of Itensity, which they can actually share that. So you could actually run something using your campaigns for your members to actually get them to actually refer other people. If you'd like to see a webinar on the campaigns solely, so we can actually go into that more in detail, please let us know, because we can then actually dive into that, because that's actually quite a nice way of getting an extra reach. I'm going to move on to Lana. Anything else that we might not have capped on this page?
We are hundreds.
Lovely. Righty-ho, best practices. So, like Talana and I have spoken about the whole way through this webinar, understand the essence of your system. So the essence of your system, what most of you actually see is we need to have member management. We need to have a member on the system that is attached to a tariff. That tariff needs to have a duration or a time on it. It needs to be able to raise that fee. You need to be able to retrieve that money. You need to be able to see who you've retrieved from, who hasn't paid you. And basically, your system needs to control those things that are keeping you up at night. So in knowing all of those things, when you take your system and maybe then things are slightly going wrong, I'm going to ask you please to reach out to our support team before you start manipulating data, like changing a fee type here and things like that, because it's ultimately actually going to affect your system. Because remember, data that goes into a system is what the system is going to put out. So good data in is good data out, and you're going to get what you're wanting from the system. If you start then putting things into the system that is kind of going off the side, putting bad data in is only going to give out the stuff that you're putting into it. And we don't want you to have anxiety around the system. We don't want you to have pressure on the system. We're wanting you to have a smooth stream. So if you ever want something and you don't know how to do it, please reach out to us first before doing something inside of the system which could muddle your data. And that we don't want, because that's going to then cause pain on you, and we really don't want any pain on our clients.
So I actually think I agree with you there, Bobs, first. And then a second thing is, again, I want to go back again to make sure that everyone here has some type of documentation of, how the business is being run. We have a lot of clients sitting with members that are in the blocked category. So you need to know what your rules are around that. Are you leaving those customers there and they're just simmering and boiling a little bit? That's potential income. You need to grab at that opportunity as fast as what you could possibly can to try and collect that arrears or income. And the other side of the coin is you are going to end up with clients in that category. You should be using that functionality because it is showing you, again, the arrears that you can collect or the potential income there, but then also clients that need to be revised. Clients that potentially need to be removed or cancelled with a hard cancellation because that obviously is affecting that head count that you're seeing there. So again, please looking at your processes and then utilizing the system effectively to monitor and manage.
Nice one. I think you're going to be going into the big training part now, the big step.
Yes. Okay. So here we go. I am bleeding. So we have a lot of feedback from customers recently where they say their staff have left or they have new ownership, and they come to us and they're sitting with information that they can't really make sense of. and they're asking for retraining, or even new customers being trained, and getting staff to be trained versus business owners sitting in with that as well. Where that's important is we need the business owner there in terms of business rules, because your staff won't always know what implications those business rules have on later. The other thing that we're thinking of potentially is hosting up webinars where you can get your staff to come in and learn and make sense of the system, and again implement those practices that you want managed at your clubs. So you want to make sure that you avoid those refires or potential admins walking away with all that business knowledge, to avoid those crumbling measures that take place later on. Just an example, we have a customer recently that had to take over a very large database, and it was very hard for them to try and make sense of the current standing of all the information. So they've actually gone through a very long onboarding journey, which is getting better, but it was just so difficult because the processes again were not being documented, and there was really no backbone of support for them on how they're going to use the system, or how their system was being implemented. So we want to make sure that everyone at your organization knows how your Itensity works. And again, that you're getting the most out of all those different types of levels, where in whichever level you categorize yourself, you are.
Nice. One thing I'm just going to pop on that. Please always ensure an owner or a manager is trained, because it's always the people that are behind the desk, back office, front office, that sometimes you can lose those staff members. So an owner and a manager, please make sure that you are literally the head of it and know exactly what's going on.
Keep the finger on the pulse.
That's it. Knowledge-based articles.
Right. I'll quickly say we are revamping our knowledge-based articles in terms of some new articles, and then revision on a couple that have recently been updated. So you can look out for those. Everyone should have a little tutorial tab that you could go to, and you could just basically search any relevant topic on there. You would be able to find a relevant short article. Maybe it's a 1-minute read, maybe it's a little bit longer topic, 3-minute read, but there should be some information in that section that you can use. And again, sending your staff to those sections to make them competent on using the system.
Lovely. And I'm wanting to make this a very proactive webinar. If there is a particular area in your system that you're currently battling with, please to actually pop in the questions or in the chat bot what you're wanting to know and your email address, so we can see that we have a knowledge-based article on that we can actually send to you. And if we don't, that we can then look into actually getting one that can actually go through to you. So if there are things that you are battling on in this webinar, please let us know. You can just say the title of what you want to know about, pop your email address there, and we're going to get that off to you, because I'm wanting everyone out of here to actually feel like they've actually taken something away from this webinar, and that they're actually feeling confident after this.
It also helps us to plan new webinars coming up with the information that we collect. So that's important.
100%. Talana, you spoke just before me revealing our big reveal. So this is the big reveal. A lot of you are on what is called Vitality Anywhere, which means that a member can actually come into your facility, and currently they scan a QR code. And if they are in your facility for more than 30 minutes, they are going to then earn their 100 points for Vitality from Vitality. But now Vitality is now reaching further. So what is actually now coming is something called Vitality Fitness. So this isn't necessarily for your current members. This is for you to be able to gain new members and for visiting members in the area. So to explain what's actually going to happen is Vitality Fitness is now going to, they're making an app. It is absolutely beautiful. With this, if you sign up to the Vitality Fitness, you are now going to be able to have them on the app. They're going to go through on the Vitality app. They're going to say, I am in Potchefstroom. I would like to find a facility. They go in, it shows them all of the links inside of Potchefstroom. I want to go to a studio. I'd like to possibly go to a HIIT class or a functional training or to a gym, whichever one it is. It's going to give you a list. I then see one on there and I can see a gym that I like. I click on it. I sign up and I go to that particular gym. Now, this is now a lead that you wouldn't necessarily have got before. It's now come from the Vitality. It comes to you. Now, what Vitality is offering is that that member gets 24 free visits at your facility. Of that, I sense Vitality is only asking that you cover 3 of those and they will pay for the rest. So whether it is a booking, which means that a person normally pays for a class, you would only then cover 3 of those classes. And if it is a gym, which is normally going to be something like a day pass for a person to come in, you would cover 3 day passes and the rest of it Vitality is going to cover. Thereafter, if the member signs up onto your studio, onto your facility, onto your gym, you have gained a member. I would like to know your thoughts on this because we're really, really excited because this is a way that smaller facilities, intermediate gyms, enterprise gyms, everybody can now actually start gaining members that are now searching through, going through Vitality, and they're just being led to them, which is absolutely fantastic. So if you've got any questions.
I think it just extends your reach a little bit. So I think that's something worth looking at, definitely.
100%. It does extend your, it's a wonderful extension of your reach. It's also then actually giving you exposure into a market where once again, you would never have actually been seen. Now suddenly you're sitting on an app that millions can see you on, which is wonderful. So if you've got any questions about this, pop a question in here. I'm more than willing to answer any questions. So with that, are there any questions? So I'm going to ask FJ if he's got any questions for us.
I see a couple.
Nothing from me, but he has a few questions from Cindy.
I see. Thank you. We love Cindy. We love Pole Base. Thank you, Cindy, for all your questions. I see she had to hop off. We'll address some of those through feedback. We'll send you some feedback on that. But just a couple of things. I think everyone would be able to see it. Nothing's jumping out at me at the moment that's too relevant in the overall here. Do keep in mind, I'm just looking here at a QR code for sign up. I will not say anything more for now, but that looks good. And then invoicing for SARS requirements, we know about that item. We can check back on that as well. Netcash does keep a surety retention for transactions completed, even failed ones. So you want to make sure that, again, that's an option that works for you, that payment gateway. There's also been a new release. PayGate is now Pay Fast, so you can keep that in mind. But we are integrated with those two, PayGate and Netcash, for online payment gateways. And then how do we access our campaign link? Feel free to create a mock campaign or a dummy campaign and test it out. So we do actually have a webinar that we can share with you, a link that you could look back on our previous webinar that we had on how to do that. But play around with that campaign structure. It actually works very nicely, like we said. And there's multiple different creative ways in which you can actually use it. And then I noticed something about removing prospects feature. Keep in mind, whatever you're using on the system, that you can actually toggle around with on your permissions. It all depends on what you've actually expanded those permissions to be. So that depends, that's heavily dependent on the navigation bar that you're seeing. And I think there's one other comment there from BFIT. We'll get in touch with you about a new reader for your access control. I think if there are any other questions, we welcome you to actually send us or log a ticket. You can even give us a call on the support number. We now have a training extension number 3 to select from. Please, if the extension is busy and our onboarding agents are busy or scheduled in calls, please do leave us a message. We do listen to the messages. That's very important. We do have clients phoning in and not leaving messages. So please just leave a short message and we can get back to you. And I think that's all we can share for now. I see that we're already over with 5 minutes.
That's it. I just wanted to say to BeFit, as you can see, there's a support email address on the screen presently. If I can ask you just to actually log that ticket through to the support team so that they can actually assist you, that will be your fastest way to actually get a response on that. And with that, I think both Solana and myself would like to actually say thank you that you have actually spent this time with us. I've thoroughly enjoyed doing this webinar, and I hope you have. I would like to ask if all of you could give thumbs up if you did enjoy it, so we can actually see. That would be really great. Otherwise, I wish you the best of. Thank you, T. I wish you the best day ever, and Talana.